Myself Padmaja, Associate Professor, Department of CSE, Institute of Aeronautical Engineering, Hyderabad. Now, let us discuss today a number of problems related to structures. So, let us start with the first problem. Now, the first problem is how to pass a structure to a function. So, in this topic, let us create a book structure containing the details of the book like the book name, author name, book ID and price, and pass this book structure to a function and then print the book details. So here in this problem we will first understand how to create a structure and then we will also learn how to pass a book structure or how to pass a structure to a function. So understanding these two concepts, let us first do this problem. So for doing this problem, let us go to our Dev C++ compiler and first let us create a book structure. So first we'll start with the header file #include stdio.h. Then to create a structure, we will use the keyword struct followed by, suppose the name of the structure is book, then every structure contains a number of structure members. So what are the structure members? So let us take some structure members, like first we will take the book name. So book name is B name of size 20. Okay. Now followed by, let us take the other members. Then the author name. So character A name is the author name of size 30. So we have taken the book name, the author name. Then every book will have a identifier. So take the book identifier as integer and then every book will have some price. So you can take the price as float also. So float, price of the book is float. So after declaring the structure, let us put a semicolon. So this is known as declaring a structure and containing some structure members. So we have taken the structure members as the book name, author name, your book ID and the price of the book. Okay. Now let us write down a function and we'll write down the prototype of the function to which the structure should be passed. So suppose the structure returns nothing. So let us write void and name of the function is display and then we are going to pass this structure. So write struct and the name of the structure is book. So this is called writing your function prototype. So in this function prototype, we have written a function which takes a structure as its argument and returns nothing. Now let us write down our main function. Now first let me write down the structure of the main function. So in this main function, first let us create your book accessing variable. That means for this struct, we will create a variable B. So B is called the structure variable. So here B is a structure variable. Okay. Now after creating this variable, let us read the book details. So let us write down a printf statement, enter book details and first read the book details from our standard input device. So let us write scanf. So the first detail of the book is the book name, so which is nothing but your character string. Then the second is author name, which is also a string. Then the third is your book ID is a integer and the fourth one is your float. So we have written the control characters to read the details of the book. Then how to write down? We have to use the dot operator to access the members of the structure. So B is the variable. So structure variable dot the member name. What is the member name? You can see the member names here. The first member name is your book name. Okay. The second member name is B dot your author name, A name. Both are both are characters or strings, so you need not put ampersand before it. Then the third one is your book ID. So for that, let me write your ampersand. Then B dot your BID. And the fourth one is your book price. So let us write B dot your price. So by writing in this way, first you are reading the details of the book first. Okay. Now you want to print these details in the function display. So let us pass the book details into a function. So how to pass? So let us call the function display and pass the structure variable as B. So let us pass the structure variable as B. So structure variable represents the structure. So whenever you pass the structure variable, that means you are passing the entire structure. Okay. So after passing this, let us write down the display function. So void name of the function is display, and what it takes a structure variable. So let us write struct name of the structure is book and the name of the structure variable is B. Now through this structure variable, what you are going to print? You are going to print the book details. So how to print? So let us write down a printf statement. So write down the book details are. After writing down this, write down another printf statement to print this structure of the book. Okay. Let me write down the book details as printf. First detail is percentile S because it is the book name. Then followed by, I can give /t, followed by author name is also a string. So again percentile S, then the book ID, which is an integer, then /t, and percentile point to F. That is after decimal up to 2 places, we want to print the book price. Okay. Now followed by, let us write down all the structure members. So B dot, first structure member is B name. Second structure member is B dot author name. Third one is B dot BID. And the fourth one is B dot price. So you can see over here that we have written all these structure variables, and to access the value of the structure variables, we have taken the help of the structure variable. Structure variable dot structure member name we have written. Okay. So this way, as this function returns nothing, so we have printed the book details over here. Now first, let us save this program and run and see it. So we'll save it as a C source file. So this is the first structure program. So let us write struct book, and we have saved this, and let us run this. So whenever you compile and run this program, it is asking you to enter the book details. Suppose let us write a book name as CP, then followed by the book author name is suppose Balaguruswamy, then book ID is some 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the book price is suppose 450 rupees. And you can see the book details are printed as it is. Your name of the book is C programming, author is Balaguruswamy, your book ID and the price. So you can see this as a simple program where you are reading the book details and you are passing the book details to a function and you are displaying over there. Okay. So this is the first structure program we have discussed, where we have created a book structure with some structure members, and then we are passing the structure to a function and printing the details. Now let us move on to the next problem. So let us go for the second problem. Now in the second problem is passing the address of a structure to a function. So let us not pass the entire structure. Let us pass the address of the structure to a function and print the details. So in this problem, we are going to create an employee structure to store the employee details such as employee ID, employee name, age and salary, and pass the address of the structure to a function and print the employee details. So it is a similar kind of program what we have done just now, but here we are passing only the address. Only we are passing the address of the structure to a function. And whenever you pass the address of the structure to a function, then what are the changes that you need to do to your program? Let us do this and understand. So let us move on to our Dev C++ screen. So let us first create one employee structure. So let me write hash include stdio.h. Okay. Then let us create a structure for struct employee, or let us take emp. Okay. So in this employee structure, what are the variables you have to give? Suppose we want to write down the employee name. So ename is a character string of size 20, for example. Then every employee will have some values like your employee name, employee ID will be there, EID. So let us take the employee ID as integer. Okay. Then employee will have some age. So let us take your int age of the employee, and then your salary. So float salary. So the members of the employee structure we have written. Your employee name, ID, age and salary values we have written. So let us put a semicolon to the end of the structure. Okay. Now what do we have to do? Now we have to write down a function. Suppose the name of the function is display only. So display employee details we want to do it. But what we want to pass? We want to pass the address of the structure. So we'll write down struct name of the structure is emp, and we'll write a star. So this is just the prototype we have written where we are passing the address of the structure and printing the details. Okay. Now let us write our main function. First read the employee details. Before that, let us create one structure pointer. Struct emp. Okay. Let us create a structure variable as e. Okay. After creating this structure variable, then what you have to do? So if you want, you can directly take the values. So let us go for, in this example, let us go for taking the or assigning the values directly. So first one is some employee name is some Rama. Okay. Then employee ID, let us take 1, 2, 3. Then followed by the age of the employee is 45. Let us take his salary is some 50,000. Okay. So this is called initializing an employee structure. Okay. Or initializing a one employee record. Okay. Initializing one employee record. So we have directly taken, otherwise you can read it down. That's not a problem. Now to the display function, what you want to pass? We want to pass the address of E. So address of the structure you want to pass, and our structure variable is E. So ampersand E we have written. So here what we are doing? We are passing the address of structure variable, address of structure to a function. So this is what exactly we wanted to do. And after that, let us write down return 0. Let us write down our display function and print the details. So this function returns nothing. So write void. Name of the function is display. What it takes? It takes the address of the structure. So write struct. Okay. What is the name of the structure? Is emp, and for that we'll create one structure pointer. Let us say it is E. So E is the structure pointer which holds the address of the structure which you have passed. Okay. Now let us see how to print the details. So write down printf. The employee details are okay. So after writing this message, let us print those details. Write one more printf statement where we will write down the control structures. So first one is employee name, which is a string. So percentile S. Okay. Now followed by the employee ID is percentile D. Then followed by your employee age is also percentile D. Then followed by the salary is point to F. Okay. Now, comma. Let us write down all the variables. So, first is your pointer is E. So, whenever you are passing the address of the structure to access the members, we use the arrow operator. So, in structure pointer, we use the arrow operator over here. So, let us use the arrow operator here. So, E arrow. So, what is the first member name? First member name is E name. Second member name E arrow. Second member is employee ID. Then the third is your employee age, and the fourth one is your salary. So hope it is understood that there are two types of operators which are used in structures. One is called dot operator and one is called arrow operator. Dot operators are used when the structure variable is a simple structure variable, and arrow operator is used when the structure variable is a pointer variable. So in this example, our structure variable is a pointer variable. That's why you are using the arrow operator to access the members of the structure. Okay. So in this, we have written the various employee details which you want to print. Okay. Now let us save this program and run it. So let us save this as a C source file, and this is struct emp. So we have saved this. Now let us go for running this program. So when you compile and run this program, you can see over here the employee details are coming, but here the last value Rama 123 45 last value 50,000 is not coming properly. So let us check why it is not coming. So here what we have missed? We have missed the percentile symbol. So percentile point to F. So as you have missed the percentile symbol, that's why it was not printing the value 50,000 properly. Okay. Now let us again see the output of this program. So you can see the employee details are printed as it is. Okay. So Rama 123 45 and 50,000 is the salary. So with this example, we have understood how to pass the address of a structure to a function. So the structure can be anything, any type of structure may be asked, but you have to understand the concept behind it, that how to pass the address of the structure. So for that, we have used here the ampersand, that is the address operator we have used in this program. Okay. Now let us discuss about the third problem related to structures. Now the third problem related to structure is regarding array of structures concept. Okay. Now if you want to print the monthly salary of employees, then there may be many employees in the organization, but the structure of the employees is same. Okay. Only the basic and the other parameters will change. So how to compute the monthly salary of multiple employees and display it. So for multiple employee records, we have to go for the concept array of structures. So let us understand this through a problem. So here, create an employee structure to store the details of employees such as employee name, basic pay, and also compute the DA and gross salary of employees using the employee's name and basic pay. So the DA is computed as 52% of the basic pay, and gross salary is computed as basic pay plus DA. Okay. Then print the employee names and the gross salary. Okay. So to understand the array of structure concept, let us do this program to how to calculate the monthly salary of the employees based on the DA, 52% of the basic pay, how to do it, and how to compute the gross salary. So let us understand this through programming. So first of all, we need to create one employee structure. So hash include stdio.h. Now what you will do, we can always create any structure locally or globally. That means locally means you can write down a structure inside a function or outside a function. So in the previous two examples, I wrote this structure outside the function. Now let us write down the structure inside also. That means you can, if you are writing inside the function, then it is called locally, and if you are writing outside, it is called globally. Globally means any function can access the structure numbers. So here I am going to write down a structure locally. So here int main, and let me write down the written GA. Now here I want to create a structure locally. So name of this structure is going to be my employee only, struct EMP. Now this structure is having what are the members. So every structure or every employee will have a name. So E name or employee name. So which is a string, character, employee name of size 20. We have written. Then every employee will have some salary. So let us take basic, integer, basic. Then we have to compute the DA. So which will be float, because 52% of basic will be a float. So let us take DA and let us compute the gross salary also. So let us take float and gross salary. So these are the structure members. Now if you have 100 employees, then you have to write over here E of 100. If you have 1000 employees, then you have to write E of 1000. Or if you want to calculate for 5 employees, 10 employees, then this concept is called array of structures. So here we have created an array over here, and all this E of 0, E of 1, E of 2 up to E of 99, each one is called an employee record, which contains the salary details of the employees. So here I will show you by taking only 3 employee details. So let me show you for 3 employees. So I have written E of 3. That means I am going to, instead of writing 3 different variables, E1, E2, E3, it is, you can also write, but if the number of employees are more, then you cannot create so many structure variables, which is not feasible. It means while writing the program, it is not convenient for use. So we will go for the concept array of structures. So we have written here E of 3. Okay. Now next what you have to do, we have to read the employee basic and DA for the 3 employees. So let us take one looping variable int I and let us read the details of this. So enter employee basic, employee name and basic. Let us read name and basic. So how to read? As you have more number of employees, then it is a repetitive task to ask the name and basic. So let me write down a for loop. So for I is equal to 0, then I less than 3, I plus plus. So we have written a for loop to compute to read the name and basic salary. So let us write down the scanf statement. So first parameter is a string, which is nothing but the employee name, and the second parameter is our integer, which is basically we have taken as integer, and followed by. So what is that? So E of I dot, what is the variable name? Is E name. We are reading the name and we are storing. So first time I is equal to 0, that means we are reading for 0th record. Okay. Then we'll write down ampersand E of I dot, what is the next one? We are reading the basic. So it is basic, which is an integer. So you need to write ampersand over here. So the first one is an character array. So you did not write ampersand. It will take the address directly. Okay. So this you are computing. So first time I is equal to 0, then I is equal to 1, then I is equal to 2. So for 3 records, you will read the name and basic. Now what you have to compute for each record, we have to compute the DA. So what is DA value? 52% means we can write down 0.52 multiplied by, that is your basic value. So E of I dot E name. Sorry, E of I dot basic. So we are computing the DA over here. Then for each employee, you need to compute the gross salary also. So write down gross salary. Gross salary is nothing but basic plus DA over here. So E of I dot basic plus E of I your dot your DA. So we are combining these two values and we are storing into the gross salary variable. So for every record, for every ith record, we are computing here your DA value and also the gross salary value. Okay. So after computing these values, then let us print the details. It may be for 5 employees, 10 employees. Let us print the details. So let us write a printf statement. Printf the employee your gross salary, or if you want to print all the details, that is up to you. So the employee salary details are, so put a message. So how to print the salary details? We have multiple employees. So write down the for loop again. So I'm doing the copy paste of your for loop over here. Then instead of reading, so these 2 lines you do not need it because you have already computed. So instead of your scanf, let us write printf. What are the things you want to print? So suppose I want to print all. So first one is your employee name, so which is your percentile S. Then basic is percentile D. Then DA you have computed, percentile your 0.2F DA, and percentile 0.2F is your gross salary. Okay. Now let us see over here, for every record it is printing, and let me give one /n over here, so that after printing one record the control will go to the next line automatically. So E of I your dot DA, and also E of I dot gross salary. It will print like this. Okay. So this loop is going to run 3 times, and every time it is going to print the employee name, basic, DA, and gross salary. Okay. So through this loop we are trying to print the details of your array of structure content, or all the employee records or their salary details. So now let us save this program and run it. Let us check. So struct salary. Let us run this program. Now it is asking me to enter the employee name and basic salary. Suppose Rama is the name of the employee. Your basic salary is suppose your 25,000. Okay. Next is Bhima. So it is your 45,000 is the basic salary. Then Rima, then your 35,000 is the basic pay. Then can you see over here the employee details are computed, but all the fields are merged together. So let us give proper spacing and display the details. So we'll give the proper spacing over here as the /t. Okay. Now save it and run it again. Compile and run. Now it is asking me to employee. So I'll write down Rama, your 34,000. Okay. Then Sita, your 25,000. Then Geeta, your 45,000. These are the basics I have given. Now you can see the employee details. The name, their basic, their 52% of their basic is your DA is computed, and their gross salary is displayed. Okay. So through this example, you understood how to implement the array of structure concept. So in this program, you understood how to create a structure, and if the structure records are same for all the employees. So if that means if you want to create multiple records of the same structure, then go for array of your structure concept and then display the details over here. Now, after learning about the array of structure concept, let us move on to the next problem. Now, in this problem, let us understand how to pass the boxes through a tunnel. Now, suppose you want to transport some boxes through a tunnel, then where each box is parallelopiped and is characterized by length, width and height. That means every box is having some length, width and height. Now, the height of the tunnel is given as 41 feet and the width can be assumed to be infinite. And a box can be carried out through the tunnel only if its height is strictly less than the tunnel's height. Okay. So, if your box height is 41 or less than 41, then the box can be moved easily through the tunnel or can be passed through the tunnel. But if the height is more than that, then it cannot be passed. So, other parameter like your length and width is ignored in this example. So it is also asking find the volume of each box that can be successfully transported to the other end of the tunnel. So here they have given one note that boxes cannot be rotated. Okay. So every box will have some length, width and height, and you need to only check the height of the box should be less than the tunnel's height, which is nothing but 41 feet, which is given in the question. Okay. And the other parameters are ignored, but you need to compute the volume of the box that can be successfully transported to the other end of the tunnel. Okay. Now, for doing this question using structures, let us first understand what are the different your input format, output format and restrictions. So, in the input format, first you have to read a single integer n, which is nothing but the number of boxes. Okay. So, n lines follow with 3 integers separately. Suppose n is the number of boxes. Suppose n is equal to 3. That means you are talking about 3 boxes details. Then in the next line, you have to provide 3 integers, which is nothing but the box, your height, your box 3 length, width and height of the boxes you have to provide. Length, width and height of the boxes you have to provide for each ith box. Okay. In the output format, if the box height is less than the tunnel height, which is 41 feet, then you have to compute the volume and display it. Now, you can see in this example, suppose the number of boxes is 4. Suppose the number of boxes is given here 4. Now, these 4 lines gives the length, width and height of the ith box. Every box it is given length, width and height. Now you can see the first box, the height is less than 41. Okay, this can be passed through the tunnel. The second one, it is also less than 41, so it can also be passed. And for the third and fourth, the height is here it is equal to 41 and here it is greater than 41. So these 2 boxes cannot be passed through the tunnel. So if the boxes which can be passed through the tunnel, for those you have to compute the volume. So you can see here the volume, and for this also this is the volume. Okay, so how to do this problem? Let us understand. So let us first go through our Dev C++ screen. Okay, so hash include stdio.h. Okay. Now, first of all, we will suppose you want to do dynamic memory allocation, then you can write hash include. If you want to use the calloc malloc function, then you can use standard lib.h. Right. Now, let us take hash define the maximum height of the tunnel, the max underscore height. Let us take it is 41. So we have defined your sample macro or a preprocessor directive over here. Okay. Now let us create a structure for each box which is having length, height and your width. So let me write down type def. Name of the structure is struct box. Okay. So what it contains? It contains length of the box. Then it contains the height. So int your, let us take width and then height. So these are the 3 parameters we have taken and we have renamed this structure as box only. So using type def over here, we have renamed this structure as box only. Now next what you have to do? Next we have to compute you have to check the height, you have to compare the height and then you have to find out the volume. So let us first write down how to find out the volume. So int, let us write down get volume is the name of the function and what you need to pass? You need to pass a structure variable. So which contains the structure details and which are nothing but your length, height and width. After taking that, you can compute its volume. Okay, so what you have to return? You have to return the volume, which is nothing but b dot length multiplied by b dot your, let us write, width multiplied by b dot height. Okay. Now, this is the simple function we have written how to compute the volume of each box. Okay. So, whenever you want to compute the volume, we will simply call the function and use it. And next, let us write one more function to compare the height of the box with the maximum height. So, int, let us write is lower than max height. This is the name of the function. What you have to pass? We have to pass each box detail. So, through this structure. Okay. So, how to compute? We will only compare with the height. So, if b dot height, which is nothing but the height of each box, b dot height is less than max height, max underscore height. So, max underscore height value is nothing but 41. So, the preprocessor will replace with 41 over here. So, before compilation, preprocessor will return. So, if it is less than this, then let me write return your 1, else return 0. So, if the height is less than maximum height, then you are only going to compute the volume. Otherwise, you are not going to compute the volume of each box. Okay. So, we have written these two functions and we can simply call it for computing the volume or for checking the height. Okay. Now, let us write down our main function. So, in our main function, let us read how many boxes are there and what are the details. So, n is the number of boxes and I is a looping variable. So, first read how many boxes are there. Printf, enter number of boxes. Okay. So, scanf, how many boxes are there? Percentile D, comma, ampersand, ny. So, after reading the number of boxes, what you have to do? You have to read the details of the boxes. Okay. Now, before that, if you want to go for dynamic memory allocation, you can go for dynamic memory allocation. So, for every box, you have to allocate the memory. So, box star, let us write boxes is equal to malloc of. Okay. What you have to do? How many boxes are there? N is the number of boxes and size of each box. So, for each box, how much memory is required? Through dynamic memory allocation, you can allocate the memory for the boxes. Okay. Now, read the details of each box. So, let us write printf, enter your length, width and height of each box. So, read these details. So, as you have multiple number of boxes, let us write down a loop. So, for I is equal to 0, I less than the number of boxes n and then I plus plus. And write down the scanf statement for each box over here. Okay. So, the first box, all are integers. All the details, length, width and height, all are integers. Okay. So, write down ampersand, BO. So, we have used the structure pointer. Structure pointer is your boxes. For which box? For the ith box. What you want to read? The length. Similarly, for the second box, for the first box, you want to read the length, then width, and then height. Dot height you write up. Okay. So in this loop, what we are trying to do? In this loop, we are trying to read the details of each box, your length, width, and height. Okay. Now, after reading this details, what you have to do? Then we have to compare the height. After we have to compare the height. So if the height is less than 41, then we can find out the volume. So let us write down a for loop again. Because we have n number of boxes are there. So what we will do here? So for each box, first compare your height. Okay. So for height, we can call the function simply. What is the name of the function we have? Is lower than max height. So we can use it over here. Is lower than max height is the. So for each box, we are calling this function, and that function already computes or checks whether the height is less than the maximum height or not, and it returns true or false, that is returns 1 or 0. So if it is less than the maximum height for each box, then what you have to do? Then we have to print the volume. So let us write down the printf statement, and for every box we have to print the volume. So for every box, okay, so print its volume. So for every box, the variable is I. For volume, we can call the function. We have written the function get volume. So call that function. So get volume of boxes of I. So you can see over here. Let us save the program. And then let us write return 0. Okay. Now save and run the program. So what is the error over here? We have not created any. So b dot length. Okay. So there is a mistake in writing length. Okay. So we have rectified that. Yes. Enter the number of boxes. Suppose you are entering number of boxes is 4. Length, width and height of each box. Suppose first time you are giving 5, 5 and 5. So length, width and height you have given for the first box. For the second box, suppose you are giving 5, 7 and 40. For the third box, let us give 10, 12 and 42. For the fourth box, let us give 15, your 20 and then 45. Okay, so you can see over here, for box 0, it is computing the volume, which is 125. For box 1, it is computing the volume, which is nothing but 1400. But as these things are jumbled, let us give proper spacing in our program and rerun it. So let us give a/n over here. So write a meaningful message, volume of the box. So again compile and run. Number of the boxes is suppose 4, 5, 5, 5, then 5, 7, some 10, then give 10, 12, 42, then give some 15, 20 and 45. So volume of box 0, is 125, volume of box 1 is 350. Okay. So through this program, you can easily understand how to compute the volume of the boxes or which boxes can be passed through the tunnel. So today in this video, we have understood how to write down the structure programs and how to pass a structure variable to a function, how to pass the address of a structure variable to a function, how to write a program using array of structure concept, and also we have discussed about a HackerRank program using structures. Thank you so much.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.